Chapter 3: General Rules in Attainment and Achievement. True success is the natural inheritance of every ambitious mind, and to succeed in every undertaking should be the ceaseless aim of every person. And this aim cannot be too high. The fact is, the majority underrate their ability in nearly every instance, therefore never accomplish much more than one half of what they might. True success, however, is not measured by mere money, but also by personal worth, ability, real greatness, and the doing of things that are difficult or of great value to the world. The successful man has not done what others before him could not do. Accordingly, he has made the world richer and better for millions to follow. Every man that succeeds becomes a model for the race, and his methods become patterns for many generations. The successful man seeks to become something and to do something, and he does not ignore anything, however trivial it may seem, that may be conducive to his growth and advancement. In this connection, a few general rules may be presented in attainment and achievement, rules that will be found of exceptional value to everyone who has real success in view. But here, it must be remembered that the true conception of success is as broad as the powers of man, and that the gains that naturally follow such a success may include everything that has value and worth, everything that heart can wish for, everything that the mind can use. Of all rules, the most fundamental is this, that all true success depends upon yourself. Therefore, to make yourself more competent as well as greater in every sense of the term must be the first essential. Improve yourself and aim to gain knowledge, power, and insight every day. Aim to develop a strong mind, a steady and strong personality, and a powerful character, as all of these are great essentials. In this connection, however, the complaint is frequently made that people who work have little time for study or self-improvement, and though this may be true in some cases, it is by no means the rule. The fact is that if the average person, especially the younger person, would eliminate useless pleasures and devote that extra time to self-improvement, a change for the better, and in many cases a remarkable change, would be realized in a few years. The young man or young woman who is after real success and true greatness must say farewell to cheap and useless amusements. But this should not be looked upon as a sacrifice, because in truth, such a course would mean gain. Look at yourself, therefore, and your habits, then eliminate all those things in your life that are useless, that simply waste time, and you will find abundance of time to give to your own cultivation and advancement. The old saying, "Let young people have a good time while they are young, for it will not last long," is too absurd to remember for a moment. If you live right and constantly improve yourself, you will enjoy life every day as long as you live. That young people, therefore, should waste their time on cheap and useless pleasure, and that people of more years should live a dejected and uninteresting life, is an idea that does not belong to this age of wisdom and light. The new rule is to use your time well while you are young, and you will remain young, and what is more, you will be something in the world. The question is not whether we should enjoy ourselves, for we all must have pleasure every day. The question is, shall we continue to live a small, cheap life with nothing but the commonmost of pleasures, when we can learn to live a large, rich life that will ever be full to overflowing with the very best that the world can give? This is the question, and every ambitious mind will give the right answer. One of the first rules, therefore, is to begin today and arrange to carry on a systemic course of self-improvement, embracing as many branches as time and present ability will permit. Another important rule is to associate only with the successful, the industrious, and the aspiring. The people we seek as companions have a marked effect upon us. Therefore, if they are pessimistic, believing in nothing but poverty, failure, and injustice, you have nothing to gain and much to lose by seeking their association. But there is no reason why we should seek the association of such people. There are any number of great souls in the world, so that we can find as many as we desire for companions. Above all, have faith in yourself. It is better to overrate than to underrate yourself. Know that you can succeed, thus you will speak and act accordingly. Expect great things of yourself, and continue to expect such things until they are realized. Stand upon your own feet, but live closely to minds and souls that have achieved much. Believe that the bright side will prevail, and in the midst of darkness, know that better moments are at hand when the sun will shine again. Draw the bright side of things into your life by a persistent faith in the supreme power of everything that is good, but do not simply desire the bright side of life. Live such a life for yourself. The importance of this may well be illustrated by taking two men of equal ability and opportunity, but the one habitually cheerful, while the other habitually morose. In the world of success, the former has 10 times the chance of the latter. We all seek the sunny soul, both in society and in business. The cheerful man will attract where the sullen man will repel, and in the realms of attainment, the power to attract good things is a matter of enormous importance. But cheerfulness has a greater value than this. Cheerfulness is constructive and accumulative. All good things come to the man who is ever bright and happy, for remember that it is the sunshine that makes things grow. Make it a point never to talk or think of failure or adversity. Be determined to succeed, and permit no thought or word to suggest anything else, no matter if things today seem to go wrong. At such times, remember the great statement, "This shall also pass away." The fact is that the world is always your friend, even though some parts of it may seem at times to be against you. Though when the world does seem to be against you, remember the reason is that you have not met the world in the right way. Change yourself. Be a friend to everybody, the whole world. Expect everybody to be good to you and desire constantly to be of real service to the entire human race, and you shall find ere long that fate will change. When you believe that everybody is against you, you rub them all the wrong way, so therefore the blame is upon you alone. Know that the true side of mankind is a true friend to every aspiring soul. Then place yourself in touch with the ideal in man. Meet only his better side, and your life, as well as the life of the world, will be made richer thereby. Make it the rule of your life to think success, to speak success, to breathe success, to attract success, to live success, and to be saturated through and through with absolute faith in your own success. Believe with your whole heart that the whole world is for you and that nothing is against you. Then you will find that as your faith is, so shall it be. At the present time, there are thousands of people who believe they are in bondage to the present system of competition, and they think of themselves as slaves to this system. But they are simply demonstrating the law that he who is for captivity into captivity goes. He who believes he is a slave to any system will become a slave to that system according to his belief. It is true that the present social and industrial order can be improved, but we are not helping ourselves nor society by acting the role of slaves and weaklings. Society and industry will better themselves as mankind raises himself to a higher level, and every time it passes from the attitude of serfdom to the attitude of mastership will, in a measure, lift up the whole world thereby. When you believe yourself to be a slave to the powers that be, you simply forego your own fetters. But when you believe yourself to be a master over yourself, a master over your conditions, a master over your own attainment and achievement, you will gradually gain mastership over all those things, and ere long everything will begin to come your way. Never live in the attitude of inferiority, and never permit yourself to appear as an inferior being. Both mind and body should be well dressed, especially the mind. If you look common, you will think of yourself as common, and he who thinks of himself as common will become common. To present a good appearance need not involve extra expense. It costs no more to be neat, clean, and presentable than to be otherwise, though the gain is very great. The fact is that nothing that has a tendency to make you reckless about yourself or your appearance will awaken mind, character, and ability. Give special attention, therefore, to the dressing of the mind, and we all can dress the mind in the most perfect manner imaginable. To proceed, no thought of inferiority should ever enter the mind. On the contrary, think of yourself as a superior being. Think constantly of greatness that is in you and claim it as your own. Live, think, and act as if you were somebody, because you are. All that is great and wonderful is latent in your own soul. Such an attitude, however, need not imply an external display of egotism, for the fact is that he who has found his true greatness will be modest and reserved in his external life. But his internal life will be a life with great power. And in the secret places of his own mind, he knows what he is. In this connection, know that you have a mission in life. Believe positively that your work is important, that the world needs you, and that you must do your best. Do not associate mentally, however, with the coldness and heartlessness of the perverted side of life. Continue to live mentally with the better side of man. Associate and work only with those who are upward bound, and think only of the strong and the great. Then remember that adversities to you are but opportunities for demonstrating the greater power that is in you. And as you proceed in this attitude, you will always be buoyant with life, joy, and power, and the ship of your life will continue to sail on. To proceed with the fuller application of these ideas, it will be necessary to give special attention to the new idea of work, ability, and faith. These are most important factors, and where properly combined, failure becomes impossible. How to work, how to apply ability, how to develop greater ability, how to secure faith, and how to use faith. These are problems that demand solutions from all minds that would rise in the scale of life. But these solutions are not difficult to find. The fact is, they are within easy reach of any mind, and therefore we can state positively that anyone can succeed. It is a well-known fact that competent men and women are in great demand everywhere, but it is not clear to the average person what it means to be competent, nor is it generally known that practical ability can be developed. According to the old idea, the mind with ability might succeed, while the mind without ability would have to be satisfied with what little the limitations of his mind might be able to produce. This idea, however, is not true in any sense of the term and should be eliminated completely. Any person can improve himself when he knows how, and anyone can learn how. Though you may be wholly incompetent today, next year you may be able to fill a responsible position and be on the way to a great and ever-growing success, for there is nothing to hinder the advancement of anyone after he has learned the secret and has resolved not to stand in his own way anymore. To succeed means to move forward, and as all forward movements depend upon constructive efforts, all work must be constructive. But work must not simply be constructive, it must be constructive to the very highest degree. And here is where ability becomes indispensable. Too much of the work that is done in the world is a mere waste of time and energy. It is simply taking the haystack from one hill to another without increasing the amount of hay or adding to the welfare of those who do the moving. The amount of waste that is going on in the business world is startling, to say the least, though we do not have to look far to find the cause. Lack of ability and insight are invariably the causes, and since the average person has in the past doubted both the existence of insight and the possibility of improvement in himself, we can readily understand why this waste has continued. When we examine the lives of very successful men, we find that they had a happy faculty of doing the right thing at the right time. And we also find that this happy faculty, combined with considerable ability and a strong desire for work, was the real secret of their great success. But what is this happy faculty of doing the right thing at the right time? It is simply insight. That is, an extraordinary power of mind to penetrate into the forces, circumstances, and conditions of industrial or commercial life. We may call it foresight, or we may define it as being long-headed, but whatever our definition, maybe the faculty remains the same. And we know it is a superior and much-needed faculty. Modern psychology has discovered that this great faculty is faith in practical action, and also that this faculty will steadily develop so long as we exercise continuous faith in conjunction with practical action. But what is faith? We have been so in the habit of thinking of faith as mere belief in something that cannot be proven that it will be necessary to employ both persistence and mental discipline to establish in our minds the correct view. Faith is a mental attitude. It does not believe, it knows. It never acts blindly because it can see with a superior mental insight. Faith is the reading out attitude, an attitude that goes out upon the seeming void with the full conviction that tidal seeming void is the solid road. Faith invariably breaks bounds and gives the mind a larger field of action. Then ability follows and informs the mind what to do with the new opportunity. And work completes the circle by doing what ability declares can be done. That these three factors, therefore, when properly combined, will constantly acquire new worlds, constantly enlarge the possibility of achievements, and constantly convert all fields of action into an ever-increasing success must therefore be evident to every mind. Work, however, must be constructive, ability must steadily improve, and faith must ever become larger and clearer. Constructive work never takes the form of drudgery, and never produces weariness, nor will such work ever do anyone any harm. No one has ever died from work, nor become sick from work. It is worry and wrong thought in general that undermines the system. So long as you get 8 hours of sleep every night and live a temperate life, physically, mentally, and morally, you can work every hour you are awake and enjoy it. And this is positively true when you have made your work constructive. We do not mean, however, that everybody should work steadily 16 hours a day. It is not necessary, but if your success depends upon that amount of work in the present, do not be afraid to continue at your work every hour that you are awake. It can do you no harm, and it will be the making of a greater future for you. Good work, constant work, constructive work will count in every instance, and especially so when we put all there is in us into our work. Then, when our work is guided by ability, the results of such work will have still greater worth. And when we dwell in the attitude of faith, we will constantly work up to greater and greater things. The competent mind is the mind that is not only alive with desire for work, but that knows how to work, that can do things without being told, and that is sufficiently original to improve steadily upon the methods employed. And such a mind may be developed in anyone when the new ideas of work, ability, and faith are faithfully employed. When we try to increase capacity and improve ability, we find that faith plays a part we did not suspect. It is this phase of faith that will appeal most strongly to the practical mind. Modern psychology has discovered that the mental attitude called faith awakens new and greater forces in the mind and also increases remarkably the clearness of thought and the lucidity of intellect. The mind that lives and works in faith, as defined by the new psychology, is constantly on the verge of greater power and keener wisdom, and must therefore constantly increase in capacity and improve in ability. This is a fact that has been entirely overlooked, but it demonstrates conclusively that faith is indispensable to him who would achieve greater and greater success. However, when this remarkable value of faith is made known, many minds will begin to depend almost entirely upon faith, neglecting ability and worth. But here, it must be remembered that faith simply enlarges the mind, thereby producing more mental material. Ability is required to employ that material properly, and work is necessary to carry out the plans and demands of ability. These three, therefore, must always combine: work, ability, and faith. And when these three do properly combine, great success will positively follow.